Good morning. Welcome to Studio 365, powered by tablethink. This is an awesome, exciting, big day celebration. This is our 100th episode.
I cannot believe it.
Me
Wow.
either. Episode 100. My name is Joshua, and that is Pastor Kerrie Palmer. You hear over there celebrating. It is really crazy.
It is
that this
crazy.
is 100.
We need to do a celebration.
We do. So I have my Congo drums here. Woo!
Excellent.
People probably think, like, what is going on
Yeah,
in there?
you know, the thing is, I think everyone should just have a party today in celebration of number 100.
Yeah, that is crazy. Does it feel like we have been doing that many?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe we could take
Excellent.
a little, I don't know, island trip or something to celebrate. Be like,
yeah,
"Woo."
if anyone wants to pay for
Yeah,
that.
please do. We would love that. But yes, this has been a lot of fun, and it's an exciting milestone to reach.
Right. And 'cause
Episode 100.
Right. We've talked about before, it's a lot of work, but there is that celebration in it. Now, if people know that what you were doing with your ukulele, you probably wouldn't tell them that I thought something was going to break.
Yes, you know, that's the great thing about the ukulele. It's so versatile of an instrument.
Man.
Yeah, you can wave it in the air.
Yeah.
So we're celebrating.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I do hope that people will take time just to say, wow, if they can do it, I can do anything.
That's right.
Because it really has been something for us to get this far.
Right.
And so I think just taking note that this is a God thing that we've
Yeah.
got this far.
Yes.
Because we have continued on knowing that we need to continue on.
Right.
And to do it with the thought that God is up to something, even when, it's just, we've not been always sure where
Right,
we're at
right.
and how to do that. And I think we have to be honest with that. And yet we are starting to see a little bit of breakthrough.
Yes.
And so it's been pretty exciting
Yeah.
to see it starting to reach out beyond what we know. So you're just going to keep trying to play that
Yeah, I'm gonna
ukulele.
I'm gonna set the ukulele down.
Good job.
That may not come through, but I just accidentally hit it and it made
Yeah.
a ukulele noise. So, but we're celebrating.
Yeah. And I think it's, for me, wonderful that this hit a Sunday.
Right.
That because
Your
it
favorite
really-
day.
It is.
How appropriate. 100 on your.
We
favorite.
probably should have known that was going to, but we didn't count ahead and
Right.
we didn't know when that was going to be. And we started, 100 days ago.
Right.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Well,
that-
today's message is really kind of goes along with this because I think we needed a day like this
Yes.
to know that, okay, we've made it this far.
Right.
We can keep on going. And this is a word from God to Moses in Exodus 33, verse 19. Do you want to read that?
Yes, it says, "I myself will make all my goodness pass before you, and will proclaim the name of the Lord before you, and I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious, and will show compassion on whom I will show compassion."
Moses was at a point, he's a leader, and he's in the ancient days, and things, remember that when we read the stories of these individuals, we're just getting some of it.
Right.
We're not getting all of it. And he really needed to know that God was with him every day and that God had more for him. And so when you think about this, when God says, I will make all my goodness pass before you, can you imagine if you were going to see all of God's goodness,
Wow.
all of
Yeah.
God's goodness? Because if we really are to think about 100 days, that we know that we're here because of God's goodness. And when we take that breath every day, for all of our listeners, we're here because of all of God's goodness. And then I love this part, I will be gracious to whom I will be gracious. And, we do we use the word gracious?
Not a whole lot.
I didn't think so.
Yeah.
I don't see that on any,
Right.
tags or anything of gracious. And yet, what a word for us to realize that God is gracious. When we set out with the journey with God, we don't often think about the fact that that's just been a gift.
Yeah.
That God has
Yeah.
been gracious to let us live the with God life. And when I think of gracious, I think of grace, and I think of two words that always come to me, and one is life. I mean, that we receive life because of God's graciousness.
Yeah.
And then I always think that along with this, I think of goodness, that God is so good to give us what God has given us. And too often in our time, we think about what we don't have.
Right.
and what we're missing. Like if we were celebrating 200 days, now how awesome would that be? We jump up instead of saying, thank you so much for 100 days, God. You've been so gracious to us. And then it says, I will show compassion on whom I will show compassion. And we are living in a day that we don't have very much compassion for people, but God is going to reveal that compassion to us and the things that God has for us. And you know what that compassion is that God made a way for Moses. He provided a way just like he provides for us. And I think that when we're in process, many times, some of us, I'm one of those people that I'm going to say, is there any obstacles?
Yeah.
What are those obstacles out there? When you start something, do you do the same?
Yeah. I think I'm looking to try to see what could potentially happen.
Right. Yeah. So I think because we've kind of approached it the same way. So I was pretty sure that you and I were both the same way. But I think today the best thing that we can do is look at the pathway that God has already provided and that God is good. So Joshua and friends, celebrate today 100 days for Studio 365. And I will talk to you tomorrow in Studio 365.
All right. Well, what an exciting day. We are so glad that you were able to join us for this celebration of episode 100. So we appreciate that you have been hanging in there this long. And if you are enjoying this Studio 365, we really ask that you would share it with your friends and family on Facebook or other platforms. And we will see you right back here tomorrow for another episode.